The best foods for grapplers to get absolutely shredded. Now, even if you don't want to get absolutely shredded, you just want to lose weight in a really effective manner before you start thinking, yes, calorie deficit is all we need. Thank you, Captain Obvious. Logically, that is true. However, we are humans, we are emotional creatures, and we need to tick an emotional box. So this process isn't absolutely demoralizing. It should be easy. It should be pretty straightforward if you do it properly, right? And that's the intention of this video. If you follow everything I say, you will make it very easy for yourself. So I'm going to be covering, right, the principles that you need to embed into your frigging brain in order to get the best results and reduce all of that belief friction that you go through, right? I'm going to talk about what's going to catch you out before you even start, and I'm going to mention what I eat and how I time what I eat around when I need it most, i.e. training sessions or work, whatever that may be. I'll talk about that in a bit. For those that are new to the channel, welcome. My name's Paul Green. I'm a former British paratrooper and Special Forces Support Group operator. I now train grapplers on the longevity program, right? Because of the nature of our sport, injuries are inevitable. So sometimes I'm getting a message on a morning, Greenie, my ACL's fucked, Greenie, MCL, Greenie, rotator cuff. And the program has to then mould to these problems. It's absolutely fine. It doesn't bother me one bit. I can do that, and I do that. And we get mint improvements on that front, right? I'm also a purple belt, 7 years grappling experience. But yeah, longevity program's absolutely awesome. Links in the description if you're interested. Principle number 1. Never reduce carbohydrates. Sounds so simple, but carbohydrates are the most important thing for high performance. Why would you want to reduce performance? Make sure that most people, right, most grapplers, they're on a weight loss mission, they're on a cut before a competition, no carbs, eating salads, and eating low energy foods. When they need energy to be at their highest before a competition, they should want high energy, which fuels learning, problem solving, and high quality training. Why should you have to have low quality training going into a competition, or just for your own aesthetic reasons when you see yourself in the mirror? Why should you have low energy for a training session? Can you not have low energy somewhere else in the day when you don't really need the energy? Maybe. We'll talk more about that in a bit. So, obviously, reducing carbohydrates around your training sessions means that you train shit, which is emotionally demoralizing. You're not going to stick to training shit for long, because nobody wants to give a shit physical representation of themselves, because it's not very masculine, it's not very manly. Why would you want to train shit? There is absolutely no chance that you're going to put yourself through that when it can be avoided. You're just going to give up. And obviously, right? But as I say, never reduce carbohydrates around training sessions. Principle number 2, be hungry in the morning, but not at night. At night, when we are hungry, bad intentions start to fill all of our decision making, right? And it can be avoided, right? It can be avoided by choosing to be a little bit more hungry in the morning, right? The moment you eat carbohydrates on a morning, your body starts, the roller coaster starts, right? And I will use my arm as a representation of this. Eat carbohydrates, blood sugar goes up. You're now heading up the top, and then when the carbohydrates settle, the blood sugar comes down. The moment the blood sugar starts coming down, you feel hungry, even though you probably didn't even need that bowl of oats. But you've now started a roller coaster of blood sugar up, blood sugar down, blood sugar up, blood sugar down. And let's be honest, what did you need to have that bowl of oats for? Could you not have pushed that to before your training session? Could you not have pushed that later on in the day? Or, even better, could you have not eaten carbohydrates on the morning? Water, coffee. Coffee's an appetite suppressant. Ask yourself, what is that physically demanding that you need to do in a morning to warrant having a bowl of oats? What I'm trying to say is, if you have your first meal as late as possible, then you're not going to be hungry at night. Yeah? Principle number 3. Eat foods that you absolutely love eating, that you look forward to eating. Every single meal you cannot wait to eat. If that's the case, you're going to be able to stick to a great meal plan and get absolutely shredded in as little effort as possible. Remember, if you're following a meal plan that somebody's give you and it's not negotiable, it doesn't fit with the foods in which you enjoy, i.e. carbohydrate choices that you enjoy, protein choices that you enjoy, it's just not gonna work. You're gonna get sick of it. You're gonna get sick to death of it. Yeah? It sounds so simple, right? But these are the things that make a difference when you're in the trenches. Like the fact that you're looking forward to eating beef and eggs in the morning. Like when life is coming at you, these things need to be boxed off, because you're going to give up. One of these is going to be the reason that you give up when life is against you. So you have to be absolutely over the moon about what you're going to eat, because there's a few reasons, right? Psychologically, looking forward to a meal, happy days. You're going to be emotionally satisfied because you know that you're eating one of your favourite foods, i.e. beef is one of my favourite foods. Beef and eggs is probably my favourite food. I eat every day. Why would I not want to eat my favourite foods every day? And logically, you're ticking a box and you're satisfying high performance, because we are high performers. We want to perform to an exceptionally high standard. Why wouldn't we? So it's ticking all the boxes, right? And you can tick all of these boxes and this as well, if you do it properly. Principle number 4, it's not a diet. You are just eating nutrient-dense foods. By saying this is a diet, you are saying this is temporary. You're saying that eating nutrient-dense foods is a temporary thing for you. That is toxic. So, what will catch you out and what catches out most blokes on the mats? The first thing is not having numbers as a foundation, right? Not doing a calorie calculator, completely winging the numbers. If you think that eating keto or no carbs, and in your attempts to avoid the numbers, or paleo, or any other rule that gives you freedom to eat whatever you want, but do the numbers, you're mistaking yourself, you're kidding yourself, you're lying to yourself. And this channel, every single day, I will challenge that lie that you tell to yourself. Lying to yourself. So, making sure you do a calorie calculator that actually accounts for the amount of activity that you're doing in a week is a non-negotiable, right? Because consistent food equals consistent performance. Once you've got these numbers, create a meal plan filled with foods that are easy to prepare, meals that are easy to prepare, and foods that you enjoy. Remember, carbohydrate choices that you enjoy, protein choices that you enjoy, veg, salad, mixed berries, like absolutely unbelievable. Because, again, you want to make this as easy as possible for yourself. This is bollocks. Doesn't work for performance. If you want high performance, then absolutely fucking listen to me. I swear to God, I do this for a living. I do this on a one-on-one basis with grapplers on my program, and they find it effortless to get in the best shape of their life because they do it properly. When you've got the foods that you need to eat in a day, you need to weigh. You need to weigh your food, right? So this is how easy it is. You place a set of scales on a kitchen table. You place a bowl on top of that kitchen table. You stop pouring the oats when it gets to 100 grams. You then get some mixed berries out. Pour the mixed berries. You stop pouring when it gets to 250 grams. So that's 100 grams of oats, 150 grams of mixed berries. That is the amount of extra time it takes into your life. The only amount of time it takes is the amount of time it takes to put scales on a kitchen table and press power on. It doesn't take you any more time. So, but you kid yourself and say, yeah, I'm not weighing my food. It takes up too much time. Oh, I'm not bollocks, mate. Absolute bollocks. Right? There's absolutely no chance that it takes extra time. It's just you are lying to yourself and thinking that the numbers aren't important. The numbers are an important foundation. Repulsed by the numbers because you are thinking emotionally. There couldn't be more logic than using numbers. It's just such it's such a great test of a man. If you're repulsed by the numbers, you are fully living in your emotions. What I eat. Currently I'm in a bit of a deficit, but I'm on the way out to maintenance, and I train at about 2 p.m. Right, the time now is 10:39 here in Brazil. So morning, I wake up, weigh myself, have some water, and do a little bit of journaling, and I have coffee. I weigh my coffee because I want my coffee to taste consistent. I want to enjoy I built a little thing. I use my French press, my grinder, but I weigh my coffee. Goes on the scales, just like my food. Late morning, 200 grams of ground beef, 5 eggs. Why am I reading off the slides? I know exactly what I eat. 5 eggs, about 650 calories. Before I train, I'm now thinking about, when I say train, by the way, I'm thinking weightlifting. Hard, pushing the numbers, hunting for PBs, weightlifting, right? Before I train, I'm having 100 grams of oats, an apple, 50 grams of raisins, and 150 grams of mixed berries or blueberries, right? High fibre, highly satiating, high carbohydrate, highly nutrient dense. It's another 650 calories. And I'm having that with water. By having it with water, I improve how well that is digested. If I had it with milk, I would literally add about an extra 200 calories to it, and I would massively slow digestion down. I don't want to slow digestion down. I want to train very well. I don't want my food to be digested in my belly before I train. After the gym, carbohydrates again, 100 grams of oats, 150 grams of acai, 150 grams of berries. I know you're probably thinking, what the fuck? Look, I'm in Brazil, right, and it's cheap, so happy days. Evening is another 650 calorie meal, 100 grams of rice, 250 grams of ground beef, and 150 grams of veg salad. And I'll just what I'll do with my veg and my salad, I'll just literally chop it into a massive container. Red cabbage, white cabbage, cucumber, tomatoes, lettuce, all sorts of shit just goes into a massive box. Carrots, and I just grab a couple of handfuls of it, and I'll just go onto my plate, which is on the scales. And my plate on an evening is an absolute mountain of food. And I'm never hungry. I'm hungry a little bit on a morning, but I can handle that because I don't actually need to be physically performing. Do you know what I mean? But another point to this is, yes, I weigh now 84 kilos. I'm absolutely shredded. And I'm currently reversing out of being shredded. So I'm now building back up to maintenance. So I'm now plus 250 calories above what I was at when I was 10% body fat. I'm still 10% body fat now, but I'm just slowly filling up the muscles in a proper way. And yeah, I'll talk about that in a separate video completely. The BJJ caveat. Because you're doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the gentle art, it's a thinking sport. It's like chess. We have to be very critical of how much carbohydrates we need before we do jiu-jitsu. We sat there, we're listening to our coach teacher's techniques, we're doing reps of the techniques. We've got to be critical of how intense jiu-jitsu actually is. And in my opinion, unless you are a spaz, it's an aerobic sport. Aerobic sport basically means we use a little bit of carbohydrates and mainly oxygen to fuel our performance. It's muscular endurance. So We don't actually need to have a carby meal before jiu-jitsu. We don't actually need to have a carby meal after jiu-jitsu either. We could probably get away with a little piece of fruit before and after. Right? Because you're not absolutely sending it with your muscles and depleting your muscles. Because you shouldn't be, because we're training, we're trying to learn. Jiu-jitsu is a learning sport, problem solving, it's thinking. And if you truly believe it's this, then why do we need all of these energy to fuel our muscles? So, I wouldn't worry too much about eating carbohydrates before and after jiu-jitsu. However, as a non-negotiable, you absolutely need carbohydrates before and after your weightlifting sessions. Thinking grapplers. Gentlemen, that is it from me. This is exactly what I do with the blokes on my one-to-one program. I literally take their day and when they train and align a meal plan in which they enjoy to these parts of the day. I only pick foods in which are very easy to prepare, so then when they're making this food, that it's just literally effortless. Everything is effortless and it gets them to their body composition goals. It gets them to recover from these injuries. And it gets them to where they want to be, high performance, for as long as possible, right? That's how we do it. And if you don't like doing the numbers yourself, if you repulses you the ideas of doing all of this yourself, like I said, the link is in the description to book onto a call with me. I can absolutely build everything out for you. Your training, your nutrition, your habits, your tactics, your mindset. If not, I'll see you tomorrow.